What is going on, guys? Welcome back to DS Asylum. I'm your Order Dimitri Shrine, and today I want to talk about some of the things that we saw in the video and stuff yesterday, but I think more importantly, I want to talk about the direction that I see this game going in right now. And I'm going to start off with that because I feel like it's probably the most important thing that I'm going to talk about this video. I guess it's an episode, technically. And I feel like I'm actually able to start giving Legends the benefit of the doubt again. And the reason for that is, like, this pattern I'm about to explain seems too consistent to be a coincidence at this point. And it feels like they're trying to balance the game. Obviously, I think the game's too far gone. I think the game will forever be in a permanent state of imbalance until they decide to nerf units. But they're at least seemingly making an effort to not add more fuel to the fire. And if we look at the past couple months, like the past 2 months or something, of Zenkais and LFs, it kind of brings up a consistent pattern of units not being super oppressive, and for a reason. Like the 2 LOE Zenkais we got, I think they actually, looked at what Cooler, the blue Zenkai Cooler, could do for them and decided not to break them as a result. And I think they did the same for Super Saiyan Broly, just replace Cooler with Bardock, Super Saiyan Bardock. And then when it comes to the LFs we've gotten, none of the LFs released so far in 2021 have been like overly oppressive, but they've been really good and had a specific gimmick that they had. LF Future Gohan, he can legitimately lock 4 of the 6 existing arts cards in the game. The only things he cannot lock are ultimate attacks and awakened attacks. So he actually has the potential of locking your entire hand, even if you do not have one single repeating card. Which is ridiculous. And on top of that, he's got the endurance and the blast card cover change and whatnot. As far as being an actual unit, LF Gohan is nowhere near the top of the tiers. Like, he's not going to be touching, LF Broly or Vegito Blue or the other LF Gohan anytime soon. Or ever, really. But he has a specific thing he's meant to do. He's meant to disrupt your opponent. With the blast card cover change, stop their combos, locking their arts cards to make sure they can't do anything. He's got endurance, so it makes their Rising Rush useless. So Gohan has a purpose. LF Kid Buu, he was quite simply a glass cannon. And people seem to think that glass cannons aren't good. I have been one to say that I don't like one-trick pony units, but I said that for Majin Vegeta because Majin Vegeta has absolutely no value outside of doing damage. He literally can't do anything but hit you hard. It's the only thing he's capable of doing. However, Kid Buu, he's really good at recovering his vanishing gauge. He's got card draw speed. Like, he can control a match. The thing about Majin Vegeta is Majin Vegeta doesn't control a match. He just hits you hard. Kid Buu is actually capable of controlling a match, and he can easily 1v3 teams if given the proper setup for it. So he has his place on the regen team and the powerful opponent team at that. And, it's not a great gimmick being a glass cannon, but he has useful things outside of that because obviously recovering your vanishing gauge with ease is a very good thing to have. And then we got the LF Rose, who I think is one of the most underrated units ever. People really underestimate how good that extreme bleed is simply because a handful of units are immune to it. And it's just like, you do realize that there are far more units in the meta that are not immune to that than are, right? In fact, I'd say around 80% of everything you run into is not immune to that extreme bleed. And even if they are immune to that extreme bleed, they're not immune to AoE damage. They're not immune to taking damage from his super. So no matter what Rose is doing, all 3 units are getting hurt in some way. If he's using a strike card, he's inflicting the extreme bleed, and even when they swap out, they're continuing to take a lot of damage. If he's using his super, everyone's taking damage at once. So Goku Black has his purpose of being, he just cripples the enemy team by constantly making all of them take damage at once. But you notice how they all have these great things, but none of them could exactly be classified as Z tier. None of them. Because they're not meant to be. However, they have more value outside of just a shiny animation now. And with Zenkai's seemingly not as, stupidly powerful like Super 17. Super 17's annoying, but he's not, broken in any way. He's not the oppressive unit that, Android 18 is. So I think they've been going out of their way. And one of the things that confirms this in my mind is this Goku right here. He is a revival unit like the Revival Cell. However, unlike the Revival Cell, he's a defense type. And the whole gimmick behind Cell's thing was he can revive himself, but even after his transformation, his defenses are awful. But his offenses will skyrocket. This guy will already be a defense type, meaning by default, his defenses will be higher than Cell's, both before and after his transformation. But to balance it out, and I think knowing that you can pair him up with someone like Vados, who's going to constantly be healing him, he only recovers 50% of his health when he is revived. He's not getting 100%. And I think that is a way of balancing him. If this unit had been released around the time of the Revival Cell, I would have been like, yeah, they're probably just gonna make him recover all of his health, and his defense is probably gonna be like Zenkai level once he does. Like, I would have had no doubt in my mind that he'd be absolutely broken. But now, I feel like he is going to be a balanced unit. I feel like they actually give a shit. At least it seems too convenient. The pattern I'm seeing is too consistent and too convenient to be by accident at this point. It happening once, twice, even 3 times in a row, fine. But once we get to 5, 6, 7, 8, this is becoming too consistent to not be an intentional thing. They are going out of their way to try and not break the game more than it's already broken. And honestly, I appreciate that. I like what they're doing here. I like the fact that units can still be good without needing to be super oppressive. Units don't have to be killing other units in one combo to be good. Units don't have to tank 10 million hits to be good. Units don't have to have some stupidly broken abilities to be good. Give them a specific purpose and make them really good at that purpose. And then make them good, like make them really, really good in that one purpose. And then everything else is just, that's pretty good. I think you get what I'm trying to say here. They're balanced. They're not broken in any way, but they have one specific thing that makes them stand out. LF units are starting to become more than just a shiny animation. Zenkais are starting to become something that maybe you don't want to go after every single one of them and not summon for new units. Because right now, there's actually the possibility that a new unit could be on par or just straight better than, whatever Zenkai is coming out. I would say that I would be highly surprised if if both this Goku and Hit were not better than Purple Broly, Metal Cooler, Yellow Frieza, or even Super 17. Super 17 might be a bit of a stretch. I think Super 17 is probably the best Zenkai we've gotten so far this year. Because I think Gogeta was last year. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Gogeta was in 2020. So I think Super 17 is probably the best Zenkai we've gotten so far this year. Well, the Blue 21's pretty good, but she's too tag specific. I honestly hate how tag specific her buffs are. Just let her have the damn support buffs. So yeah, I'm actually gonna keep that. Super 17 is the best Zenkai, and he's not broken. He's not Z tier. He's probably never going to be Z tier. So I really like what they've been doing so far with the game, at least on the PvP side of things. Now PvE, there's a lot, and I mean an unholy amount of work that still needs to be done. Truth be told, PvE needs pretty much a complete overhaul. Like PvE needs a brand new everything, because PvE is so unbelievably boring, repetitive, and sometimes even frustrating that it just makes me want to stop playing. I still haven't beaten the 50 battle event for the Super Saiyan 3 Goku, because I just can't bring myself to play something so mind-numbingly boring for essentially nothing, because it's not even like I can Zenkai the Goku after doing it. I legitimately get nothing out of it, and I would actually just be wasting my time by playing it. So, and on top of that, it's incredibly boring. So I don't even think I've gotten to battle 10 on that damn event yet. That's how bored I am with it. So PvE definitely still needs a lot of work. But in terms of PvP, they're at least making an effort to not break the game any more than it is. Now again, this game will never recover until the top tier units are nerfed. And if they never nerf those units, PvP will never be a balanced environment. As long as Gohan, Gogeta, 18, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, the purple one, the blue Trunks, as long as those units are running around PvP, it will never be a balanced experience. It will never be a fun experience. But they're at least making an effort to not, damage it any more than it already is. So I think that is very, very good for the game, and it'll make people kind of forget that the game is so broken after a while, because after a couple months of balanced units, people will just start to forget, how stupid it is to fight Gohan, because you probably won't even run into him that often. Eventually, someone's favorite unit is going to come out, and he's going to be really good, and he's going to fill the slot that Gohan does. And people are probably going to start running that simply because they want to, and not because they feel like they have to anymore. The problem with the top tier units is the fact that not only were they as good as they were, but they were the only units that could reliably take out any other unit. So it was more of a sense that you had to use these units if you wanted to be successful. But if everything is balanced, if everything around them is balanced, there's no longer that need to have such a unit on your team. You can replace them. You can get rid of them if you actually want to. Because if I'm being honest with you, how many Gohan players actually want to use Gohan? Like, are there really that many players that actually have fun using Gohan? I think it's just a sense that they need to use Gohan because he's the only one that can reliably take out anything. But if everything's balanced, anything can reliably take out anything else. So there's no need to use these overpowered top tier units unless you just simply want to. So I think we should give them the time to see if this continues. The 3-year anniversary will really tell whether or not they're going towards this more balanced environment, because obviously the anniversaries have been where the best of the best units have been released. A lot of the times, Super Vegito damn near broke the game when he came out, and Vegito Blue actually broke the game when he came out. So whatever fucking Vegito we get this year, fucking Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, if he doesn't break Vegito, if he doesn't break the game, then we might actually be looking at a bright future for Dragon Ball Legends. And I think that is very good, because it means I have less to complain about. People think I just love sitting here and bitching about the game. I hate it. I hate complaining so much. Just Legends never ever gave me anything good to talk about. But now it is. It's giving me good shit to talk about. So you know what? I'm gonna talk about some good shit. And while I'm here, I know this video is probably going on for a long time, but this ultra rarity, I feel like I should just make this its own video because this is amazing. But if I wait to upload that tomorrow, this is coming out tomorrow as you guys are seeing this video. So there'd be no point in giving my thoughts on it then. Actually, nah, that's not true because then we'll really know how it works, how the whole, getting him process works. So yeah, actually, I guess I'll save my thoughts on the ultra rarity for tomorrow when we actually get that update. But yeah, this is kind of crazy. Unless the game's huge maintenance brings them all today, and then by the time this video goes up, I look stupid because they're all actually out already. There's always that chance. I don't think so because the PvP season ends today, not last night. And that's usually when they bring in new shit when the PvP season resets. So, I don't know. But I mean, there's always that chance that this last part of the video doesn't age well. And I'm talking about, I'm gonna talk about him when he comes out tomorrow, and he's already out by the time this video comes out, so. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. If you enjoyed this video, do make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, hit that join button if you can. It really does help the channel out. All the links you could ever want are in the description down below. Let me know what you guys think is going on in terms of the units. Do you like the fact that we're getting more balanced units that actually seem like they're having care put into them? Or do you just want broken units because, grr, I want Legends to die, childish shit. And I will see all of you inmates back here at the asylum for the next video. Peace.